Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. When the Washington Commanders entered this season, there was a quiet but very real expectation inside the building and among fans that Jayden Daniels was about to take that classic second-year jump that so many young quarterbacks make in the National Football League. That moment when the game slows down, the reads become cleaner, and confidence starts to replace hesitation. But football has a ruthless way of ignoring scripts. And as the Commanders' year unraveled week by week, Daniels' sophomore campaign unraveled with it. Not because of a lack of talent or preparation, but because circumstances, injuries, and instability never allowed the story to fully develop the way everyone hoped it would. Daniels was supposed to build on what he showed as a rookie, stacking experience on top of experience. But instead, his season became a stop-and-start cycle that never let him truly find rhythm, as he opened games with promise only to watch them end early from the sideline. Helmet off, listening to the play calls instead of executing them. And that reality is what makes this season so frustrating to evaluate. Because when you talk about growth at quarterback, you need reps, you need continuity, and most of all, you need health. Three things Daniels simply did not have enough of this year. He technically started 7 games for Washington, a number that already tells a strange story when you realize Marcus Mariota actually started more games than him. But the more alarming detail is how few of those starts Daniels was able to finish, as injuries forced him out 3 different times, meaning he completed only 4 of those 7 starts, a brutal statistic for any young quarterback trying to establish himself. Because every early exit resets progress and replaces confidence with caution. Offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury did not try to sugarcoat it when asked to evaluate Daniels' season, choosing a word that perfectly captures both the disappointment and the lingering optimism surrounding the quarterback, calling the year incomplete, a simple assessment that carries a lot of weight because it acknowledges that what we saw was not the full picture, not a fair sample, and certainly not the ceiling of what Daniels can become at this level. Kingsbury pointed directly to the injuries as the defining factor, emphasizing how unfortunate it was that Daniels never really got the chance to show growth on the field and continue progressing week after week. In the context of quarterback development, that matters because growth is not always flashy. It is often subtle, happening in small adjustments from one game to the next. Adjustments that get erased when you're forced to miss snaps, series, or entire games. Still, even in a season that never fully took off, Daniels managed to quietly show signs that suggest his foundation is solid, as he completed more than 60% of his passes, maintained a respectable touchdown rate, and improved his interception percentage, trimming it down to 1.6% compared to 1.9% the year before. A small but meaningful improvement that shows better decision-making even while operating under physical limitations. His sack percentage also dipped slightly, another indicator that Daniels is learning how to navigate the fine line between playing his natural, aggressive style and protecting himself in a league that punishes hesitation just as much as recklessness. And Kingsbury was quick to defend his quarterback in that regard, reminding everyone that just a year earlier Daniels managed to play in all 19 games. A testament to both his toughness and his willingness to stay on the field despite the risks inherent to his style of play. That comment from Kingsbury felt almost like a reminder that injuries do not always mean a player is careless or fragile, but rather that football is a violent game where timing, luck, and circumstance all collide, and sometimes the difference between staying healthy and getting hurt is a single step, a single hit, or a single awkward fall that no amount of preparation can completely prevent. As the offseason approaches, the priority for Daniels is obvious and non-negotiable: getting healthy and staying healthy, because availability is the baseline requirement for any quarterback hoping to lead a franchise. But beyond that, there is still meaningful work to be done, even without a full second year, to build upon his offensive Rookie of the Year performance from the season before. A reminder that development does not stop simply because game reps do. Kingsbury has been vocal about one particular area where he hopes Daniels takes ownership, encouraging him to organize throwing sessions and workouts with his receivers and tight ends, following the example set by some of the greatest quarterbacks the league has ever seen, pointing to how Tom Brady would bring teammates to Montana or how Patrick Mahomes regularly gathers his weapons in Dallas. Because chemistry is built in quiet moments away from the cameras just as much as it is on Sundays. That rapport, that extra time on task, is often what separates good offenses from great ones. And Kingsbury admitted that Daniels and Terry McLaurin simply did not have enough of it together this year, whether because of injuries, timing, or circumstances like McLaurin's training camp holdout. And when you lack those shared reps, it becomes harder to fully unlock what an offense can be, especially when timing and trust are everything. Looking back, it is fair to wonder if more offseason work together could have helped bridge that early season gap. But even that is not a cure-all for the injuries that limited their shared snaps to just 2 full games together. A frustrating reality that again circles back to the theme of incompleteness that defines this entire year for Daniels and the Commanders. Adding another layer of uncertainty is the possibility of change on the coaching staff, with reports suggesting Kingsbury himself may not be the coordinator guiding Daniels into his 3rd season, a situation that always raises concern for a young quarterback, because learning a new system means new terminology, new reads, and another adjustment period just when stability is most needed. However, history offers perspective here, as many legendary quarterbacks before Daniels, from Joe Montana to Tom Brady and countless others, have navigated coordinator changes and scheme shifts throughout their careers, adapting rather than unraveling. And those experiences often ended up sharpening their understanding of a game rather than limiting it. Those who know Daniels best believe his mindset positions him well for that challenge, as he has consistently shown an ability to embrace adversity rather than shy away from it, suggesting that a coordinator change alone would not be enough to derail his trajectory, even if it adds another hurdle to an already complicated development path. Incomplete seasons, much like incomplete games, still offer lessons if a player is willing to extract them, and Daniels now faces the task of turning frustration into fuel, using this year as a reference point rather than a verdict, with the goal of making his 3rd season not just complete, but potentially even more impactful than his impressive rookie campaign. While the focus naturally centers on Daniels, the Commanders also made quieter roster moves that reflect the constant churn of an NFL season, elevating wide receiver River Crocraft and defensive tackle Ricky Barber ahead of the final week, reminders that depth and flexibility matter even when a season has not gone as planned. Crocraft's journey alone tells a story of perseverance, having entered the league as an undrafted free agent, bouncing between practice squads and short-term opportunities with multiple franchises, fighting through injuries, releases, and futures contracts before finding yet another chance in Washington, a career path defined by resilience rather than headlines. He has moved through organizations like Denver, Philadelphia, San Francisco, Miami, and Seattle, adapting to new systems and expectations each time. And while his impact on the field for the Commanders this year was limited to a single appearance without recorded statistics, his elevation underscores how teams value experience and reliability late in the season. In many ways, Crocraft's story mirrors the broader theme surrounding the Commanders this year, a season filled with interruptions, adjustments, and unfinished business, where progress was harder to measure but not entirely absent, and where the hope remains that lessons learned now can translate into stability and success later. As Washington looks ahead, everything circles back to the same central question: what version of Jaden Daniels will emerge once health, continuity, and opportunity finally align? Because the flashes are there, the numbers quietly support growth, and the belief inside the building has not vanished. It has merely been postponed. If Daniels can enter the next season healthy, with stronger chemistry, clearer direction, and perhaps a more settled environment, this incomplete chapter may ultimately be remembered not as a setback, but as the awkward middle act in a much larger story, one where patience is tested, adversity is embraced, and growth finally has the space to breathe. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. The football world is buzzing with a shockwave that no one saw coming. Terry McLaurin, the electrifying wide receiver who has been the heartbeat of the Washington Commanders offense for years, is reportedly on the verge of a departure that could rewrite the franchise's trajectory. Sources close to the team, speaking under the condition of anonymity, have hinted at conversations that suggest McLaurin's time in Washington may be coming to an abrupt end. For fans who have celebrated his highlight reel catches and his relentless drive on the field, this is the kind of news that feels almost unreal. Imagine a player who has carried the hopes of a city week after week, suddenly contemplating a move that could reshape not just his career, but the very identity of the team he has defined. There is speculation that McLaurin, whose loyalty has been unquestionable until now, is weighing offers from multiple teams, and insiders are already whispering about potential destinations that could offer him not only a larger payday, but also a platform to chase the kind of championship glory that has eluded him in Washington. The timing of this speculation adds an extra layer of drama. McLaurin's contract situation, combined with the Commanders' ongoing struggles to find a consistent offensive identity, has created a perfect storm. Analysts are now asking whether the franchise can afford to let their star wide receiver walk away, or if they will make a desperate push to keep him, even if it requires restructuring contracts or making difficult roster decisions elsewhere. There is a sense among insiders that McLaurin's departure will be nothing short of catastrophic for Washington. The team has built so much around his presence, from offensive schemes to marketing campaigns, and yet the possibility of losing him seems more tangible with each passing report. Fans on social media are already expressing a mixture of disbelief and fear, with threads of speculation ranging from which teams might be most interested to how the Commanders might attempt to replace a player of his caliber. The emotional stakes here cannot be overstated. McLaurin has been more than a player. He has been a symbol of hope, energy, and resilience for a franchise and its fan base that has often felt starved for consistent excellence. From a purely football perspective, the rumors raise serious questions about strategy and vision. If McLaurin does leave, who steps up to fill the void? Can the Commanders' front office make a move that mitigates the impact of losing arguably their most dynamic playmaker? The conversations circulating among pundits suggest that the franchise may need to pivot dramatically, potentially exploring trades, free agency signings, or even a complete overhaul of their offensive approach. There are whispers of internal debates where executives are weighing the pros and cons of committing massive resources to retain McLaurin versus investing in a broader rebuild strategy. Some insiders hint that McLaurin himself may have expressed frustration over perceived limitations in the team's offensive system, fueling speculation that he sees greener pastures elsewhere. This is not just a story about contracts or money. It is about a player seeking a stage that aligns with his ambitions, and a team wrestling with the reality of potentially losing a cornerstone talent who has defined an era. Meanwhile, the ripple effect of this speculation is already being felt across the league. Teams that have been struggling to find a true game-changing receiver are reportedly keeping a close eye on developments, quietly positioning themselves to make a competitive offer if McLaurin officially enters the market. Executives and scouts are said to be evaluating not just his on-field skills, which are undeniable, but also his leadership, work ethic, and ability to instantly transform a team's dynamic. Rumors suggest that several franchises view McLaurin as the missing piece that could propel them from playoff hopefuls to legitimate championship contenders. The intrigue lies not only in which team might make the move, but also in how the Commanders respond if they are unable to retain him. Could they attempt a high-profile trade to maximize return value? Or might they make an aggressive contract extension push to convince him to stay? The speculation is intense, and the uncertainty is fueling endless debate among fans and analysts alike. There is also a human element that cannot be ignored in this unfolding saga. McLaurin has been a fixture in the Washington community, admired for his commitment off the field as much as on it. Reports indicate that he has developed strong personal ties with teammates and fans, making the potential departure even more poignant. The narrative that is emerging is not just about a professional decision, but a deeply emotional crossroads for a player who has poured his heart into a franchise. Social media discussions have highlighted the bittersweet reality that, While McLaurin's talent might attract interest from elite teams, leaving the city where he made his mark would be a significant sacrifice. Yet, the allure of a new challenge, perhaps with a team on the cusp of greatness, is reportedly weighing heavily on his mind. Speculation abounds that McLaurin's inner circle is advising him on both financial and legacy considerations, adding yet another layer of complexity to an already dramatic situation. The tension is palpable, as insiders suggest that even preliminary discussions about potential moves have sent shockwaves through the locker room. Teammates reportedly understand the gravity of the situation, with some expressing quiet concern over how the departure of a leader like McLaurin could affect team morale. Coaches are said to be preparing contingency plans, not only for offensive schemes, but also for leadership dynamics, knowing that losing a player of his stature is far more than a tactical setback. It is a cultural one. Observers are speculating that the Commanders' handling of this situation could define the next chapter of the franchise for years to come. If McLaurin leaves, it may mark the end of an era and the beginning of an uncertain, yet potentially transformative, period in Washington's football history. Adding fuel to the fire are subtle hints that negotiations, if they exist, are happening quietly but with urgency. While no official statements have been made, multiple reports suggest that McLaurin and his representatives are exploring options behind the scenes, considering which teams align with his professional ambitions and personal values. This has sparked a frenzy among fans and sports media alike, as the mere possibility of a departure has unleashed a torrent of theories, mock trades, and potential landing spots. Some predict blockbuster moves that could involve draft picks or high-profile players in exchange, while others anticipate a quieter but equally impactful decision, with McLaurin simply signing elsewhere in free agency. The air is thick with anticipation, and each passing hour seems to amplify the speculation, as if the football universe itself is holding its breath. What makes this story even more compelling is the context of McLaurin's career trajectory. He is widely regarded as one of the most talented wide receivers of his generation, with a combination of speed, route-running precision, and catch radius that makes him a constant threat to defenses. The rumor of his potential exit is particularly significant because it comes at a moment when he is arguably entering the prime of his career, a stage where performance peaks and legacy considerations converge. Analysts are now debating the potential ramifications for both McLaurin and the Commanders, speculating on scenarios that could see him redefining his career in a new city while Washington faces the challenge of redefining itself without its most dynamic offensive weapon. The narrative tension is palpable. The city, the team, the player, and the league are all entwined in a high-stakes drama that has no clear resolution in sight. Amid the swirling rumors, one thing is undeniable. Terry McLaurin's story with the Washington Commanders has reached a dramatic turning point. Whether he remains loyal to the team that helped define him or takes his talents elsewhere, the implications are enormous. From fan reactions to strategic adjustments, from locker room morale to league-wide intrigue, this potential move has the capacity to reshape narratives and alter trajectories in ways that few expected. As the football world watches with bated breath, the uncertainty is electric, the speculation intense, and the potential consequences monumental. Every insider tip, every whisper of negotiation, every analytical projection contributes to a growing sense that something seismic may be on the horizon for the Washington Commanders and their star receiver. The drama, the emotion, the strategy, and the human stakes combine to make this not just a sports story, but a saga whose next chapter could forever change the landscape of professional football. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.